Hey, hi, hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Fahey. Welcome back to the journey of the grandpa. Guys, we have quantum shifted. We were in one shift and then we quantum shifted to another shift. And now, guys, we have one. I feel like we are maybe 10 steps away from the retirement home at this point. You know, the retirement home where you play darts with your boys and everybody's just having a good time all of the time telling stories to one another. Well, last night, was it? I guess it was more of the morning, more of a twilight situation. There was a blood moon lunar eclipse at 3:33 a.m. March 3rd, another 33, and basically this was the simulation giving into our desires. This basically was the quantum field saying, okay, Grandpa Maxers, I get it. You guys are winners. We're going to let you have it. We're going to let you go to the retirement home. And now we're waking up in this new reality. You, me, and all of our Grandpa Maxing brothers and old brothers. And we're just understanding the gifts of our jolliness and our mirth that we've all earned through our deliberate study of the grandpa way. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying that. All this new blood moon energy that we are absorbing and using to become more wise grandpas. I hope you guys are enjoying all the moon energy. And I know there's going to be a lot of people like, oh, fuck the moon. I hate the moon. I'm a sun guy. I goddamn hate that goddamn moon. Fucking female energy bullshit. Fuck that moon. I hear you. I do. I hear you. But can we not just take the good with the bad? Can we not just accept that today, on this occasion, the blood moon lunar eclipse 3:33:33 ritual, can we not just accept that that has blessed us grandpas and given us a good thing, please? Let's have fun with it. So, guys, today I don't want to just talk about the goddamn moon. I don't care about it that much. I want to talk about yesterday. I'm specifically Jim Carrey. And I also want to talk about anger. Ooh, anger. Not very deeply. Not like so deeply. You guys can tell I'm still withdrawing. Oh guys, I'm so withdrawn. And yeah, let's just get into it. You know, I do have the book, the Chinese book. We will read a page of the Chinese book and hopefully it pertains to what we say today. And if it does not, then god damn it, Confucius, you fucked me. Confucius, that guy, I find him so Confucius-ing. Anyways, so yesterday somebody left something on my desk and it was very fascinating. I talked about how, oh, there's the guy Alexis Stone, I believe, Alexis Stone, and they have claimed that they were Jim Carrey in The Mask, and they have put a picture of the mask on their Instagram. And somebody put on my desk, they said, oh, that picture is actually AI of the mask on their desk. And you know me, I'm like, oh, interesting. I like that claim. That's interesting. Let me go check that out. And I think this person is probably correct. I do think that that picture was probably AI. For one, it is like so smooth. Everything in the picture is so clean. There's no dust. There's nothing to suggest entropy at all. And there's also in the background just the Eiffel Tower perfectly framed with a window, which leads me to believe that somebody just typed into the prompt, show me a Jim Carrey mask in Paris, and then that's what the AI gave you back, was like, there's the Eiffel Tower, in case you did not know. And there's also, this was suspicious to me, a like little box of paints, which, I mean, obviously it kind of makes sense, like you're an artist, you have paints, but it was a skin tone face mask. It didn't make sense to have all those colors in that context. And you know, this is one of those things where I look at all that, I'm like, okay, yes, this appears to be AI, but there's another consideration, you know, which is that the guy taking the picture is gay, you know? So maybe the fact that there's no dust is because he cleaned the picture background incredibly and everything was super clean before he took the picture. And all of those paintings, maybe that's his gay makeup that he puts onto his face. And maybe, the Eiffel Tower thing being perfectly framed in the window, maybe that's him like, oh, I need to make the Eiffel Tower perfectly in the frame of the window. I could see all of that. So it could go either way. It could go AI or gay. But I would lean towards AI. And what does that mean in the whole context of the situation? Does that mean that Jim Carrey is dead or on the island, or was it really actually Jim Carrey and he's just so ugly now? I don't really know, but when I read this comment, I had a deep inclination, or I feel like it was the muse whispering into my ears, and it was two words. I mean, to me, it is one word because it is impossible to separate these two words, but Charlie Kirk. Guys, I think I know what happened to Charlie Kirk now, and I'm gonna lose a lot of you guys because a lot of you guys look at Charlie Kirk as like somewhat of a father figure ever since, the whole event. Very strange to me. I personally was never like a crazy, I mean, I was aware that the guy was a person, but I never was interested in anything he said. He never came across as like a funny person to me. And like that's why back in those days, the Charlie Kirk days, I would watch Milo Yiannopoulos because I find him to be a funny character. I find him to be inflammatory, and that's what I go towards versus just this guy, and whatever. I guess we're living in a post Kirk world, where you have to have an opinion on this man, and you cannot just say, "Yeah, I'm aware of the guy." So that's kind of where I fall, but I guess I have to say I loved him, and also I hated him. I loved him when he agreed with me, and I hated him when he disagreed with me. Yes, that will make both sides incredibly happy. Whatever you think about Charlie Kirk, I think the same thing. But now, work with me here. I don't think he's dead, guys. I think that he is inside Jim Carrey's body double. How did this happen? Well, obviously, it was a hologram that we all witnessed. That was obviously not a real person. That was a hologram. And the real Charlie Kirk was on Air Force One, Air Force Two, and he was being transported to Jeffrey Epstein's secret lab in Mossad, Israel, where they changed his eye color to make it more Jim Carrey-esque. And then after that, what did they do? They put a big mask on him, and then they sent him to Paris after, doing math in my head, 5 months. After 5 months, they sent him to Paris to accept an award as Jim Carrey. And guys, what is my evidence for this? Why do I believe that this was Charlie Kirk inside of the mask? Well, for one, the face size. Guys, if you look at that face, that Jim Carrey face, it is too big to be Jim Carrey, but it is about the size of a Charlie Kirk face. They're about 1-to-1, I would say. They're the same sized face. And, if I was Charlie Kirk, right? If I was that guy, I would be trying to get the fuck as far away from Erica Kirk and Candace Owens as possible, right? So being in Paris, that just sort of logically tracks. You want to be away from those two in their cat fight, so you go to Paris and you pretend to be Jim Carrey, right? Doesn't that just make sense, kind of? It's like, okay, I cannot be near Erica, I cannot be near Candace, I will go to Paris. Makes a lot of sense to me. Can I think of another fake point that would prove my point that not Candace, that Charlie Kirk is Jim Carrey? I just shouldn't have to explain it. It's one of those things where it is what it is. Jim Carrey and Charlie Kirk are one, and if you guys cannot see it, that means that you are sheep and you do not have access to my extreme truth. Guys, I looked down all of the rabbit holes I know about all of the theories, and this one is correct, okay? So, yes, believe me. Believe me when I say that Jim Carrey is Charlie Kirk and vice versa. So that's just something I want to say. I have no fucking idea what's going on with that situation. Obviously, I think it was super weird that it happened right before the whole war declaration. It's like this big thing that gets everybody all confused, and there's people arguing like, "Oh, this is real. This is not real. Oh God, it's for some reason." I mean, it's very polarizing, which is awesome. I mean, it's awesome that it's so easy to divide people these days because, a lot of people are like, oh, we need to be unified. We need to be one unified spirit. I do not feel that way at all. I feel like it is way more interesting in the school of life way if we are all completely different and batshit set in our own reality. I'll say it like that. I think that the more divided we are, the funnier things kind of are. Oh, you mean racially divided? No, 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 don't go there. But I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, like, ideologically divided. The more ideas we have, the more interesting the zeitgeist is, okay? So now I want to talk a little bit about anger. And I don't want to get too deep into this because yesterday my phone stopped recording because I had too much data and that pissed me off. And I don't want that to happen again. So I want to be very quick. As I understand it, we were guys, fellas, we were kind of brainwashed, fucked when we were kids. We were kind of told that like being angry is like super empowering and it makes you super strong and tough and rough. And it's just not the case. I will say that anger is like a motivating force. Like you can get angry about how something is, and that can inspire you to start moving towards something that you might not have done originally, right? So there's some value in that, but it's one of those things where it just makes you shittier. Like physiologically, you compress, you contract yourself, and you are not able to flow into just be as efficient as you could be if you were more in like a state of peace. And that's really, I mean, there's really not that much to say about it. Like we were tricked. I'll give my own example. When I was like a teen, I was guys, I was so mad at the world because of like my upbringing and stuff in my family. I was like, oh, fuck this. This is so bad. I got to get strong, to protect myself, and I would lift with anger. I'd be like, oh God, like I would need to protect myself and all of this shit. And I never got any stronger. I would plateau. I mean, the most I ever benched at that time was like a plate, if I even got there. And now I'm at a point where I train with intention, and it's all about uh being of service. Like when I train now, it's like, okay, I need to have my body be limber and functionally strong so that I can do my craft massage as well as possible. And since I've approached it that way, like I've actually started gaining weight. And this makes me so happy, guys. I don't want to be 140 pounds anymore. I want to actually grow. And like right now I'm teetering on 160 because I've been kind of slacking a little bit. I was like 165, 167. That's where I peaked. And I'm trying to get back to that. I'm actually, to be honest, like my goal this year is, for one, I want to do a handstand. And for two, I want to weigh 180 pounds. That is my goal. And I think that's very possible, guys. I think I can actually grandpa max my weight and just become super powerful. But yeah, it doesn't come from anger. It's just, it really is always about focusing on something good, focusing on something that makes you smile and laugh and happiness versus focusing on that which you hate. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because, yes, like as men, we have been tricked. They've basically put a carrot in front of our nose and said, oh, if you are angry like Rambo or whatever the fuck, like you will succeed and you will be so much stronger than you could be. Versus it was always really like, um, I don't want to use Jesus as the example all of the time, but Aragorn, Aragon, that guy from Lord of the Rings, that's real. Like that guy is actually really powerful, and It's because he's got friends. He's got like buddies, and they all just have like a common goal and they work together and they're never seething. This is another thing I wanted to bring is like seething is a losing position in all cases. And you could say like, "Oh, Fahey, weren't you seething a couple of days ago when you were talking about Iran, how you ran for the Iran war?" And I mean, obviously, my ego is not going to let me say that I was seething, guys. Obviously, I would not admit whether or not I was seething in that case. But I don't think that was the case. I think that if anything, I was mildly frustrated and somewhat annoyed. But I would have to I think in order to seethe in that situation, I would have to have a way that I believed things should go. And I'm not emotionally invested in most things to have like a way that I think it should play out? Like the obvious or the best example being like the economy. Yes, the Federal Reserve is fucked, guys. Obviously, quantitative or whatever the word is, the idea that they just take out a loan and they print the money, quantitative easing, obviously that's like super fucked. But am I gonna come up with an economy that allows people to buy Walmart and um get cars they can't afford? Am I gonna come up with the solution to that? No, of course not. That's so much math and so much Hava, Nagila, Hava. That's so much that I will not do, okay? So I don't seethe about it. I kind of look at it, I'm like, oh, it works. That's great. I mean, there are probably better ways to do it, but for the meantime, that is probably the best system I can imagine? And so, never seethe, in all things, never seethe. Just, be like water, like Bruce Lee, but we're Grandpa Maxers, so we don't really want to steal like any more Chinese wisdom than we have. Let's say be like whiskey. I don't know. Be like a liquid that you feel communicates old age. I don't want to say milk because, white, and I don't want to say, I guess whiskey. Be like whiskey? I don't fucking know. Anyways, guys, I'm feeling that withdrawal, guys. Day 2 of quitting the nicotine. And honestly, it's been super cool. Like, yesterday, I was watching a video this guy made, Master of the Realm or some shit. He's that black guy that made the video about how you shouldn't sleep on beds and shit like that. And he was doing this one where he's like, okay, I'm gonna show you the stretch to leave your body. And you go like this, and then you breathe in, and then you go like this. And I was like, okay, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I did that, and I just had like a crazy electrical sensation in my brain, and I really I really felt like I don't know. I was like, am I gonna pass out? Like this is fucking awesome. It felt really cool. I just wanted to share that real quick. But today we are going to do human truth, and we talked a lot about human truth today, about how Jim Carrey and Charlie Kirk are the same guy, and now we are going to read this segment on human truth. Fuck. I can't wait until like a week when I'm actually like super clean and I'm not all like scattered and shit. It's gonna take some time, guys. I will get back to a good place, a very good place. There is little chance of misunderstanding where there is quick response to immediate needs. Be abusive and you alienate people. Be accepting and you attract people. Be moderate and you will have no regrets later. To help others, you must forget yourself. Knowing this is to be truly enlightened. Knowing this, one can rise above personal feelings. In time of crisis, such an attitude is the keystone of progress. Dangers are removed and peace endures. I like it. I always like it. These Chinese people, I always like what they put on paper. Unless it's like, say, a fortune cookie. Those fortune cookies are full of shit. And they make me so goddamn angry that I rip the fortune and I eat it. Okay? There is little chance of misunderstanding where there is quick response to immediate needs. To me, this is about intuition, and this is about the fact that the mind is ultimately deceiving, And if you just fire at the hip versus, dwelling and meditating on something forever, you will typically have something that is more, you will have an action that is more in line with your authentic self. The more you think about it, the more you scheme about it, the less powerful your response will usually be. And this is like a fine line, between responding quickly and reacting quickly. And I believe that the source of that needs to be like inner understanding and understanding your motivations and what you are hoping to gain from a situation. So, yes, act quickly, fire from the balls, but you have to be more realized than most people. Most people, like, if they were to just act it, they would be like crackheads and shit like that. You have to have a foundation in yourself. I hope that was good. Be abusive and you alienate people. Yes. Never be a seething dickhead, even if, like, you know, obviously there are people that I don't share common ground with, and like, if somebody was gonna go up to me and be like, "Oh, have you heard of the politics? Have you heard of the political problems? And have you heard of the ways that we can vote to get out of those political problems?" To me, that's like schizophrenia. That's advanced schizophrenia. To think that this is all of this, to think that this is still political is so unreasonable to me. But am I going to get into their face and say, "Guys, the Federal Reserve owns your currency. Your politicians are slaves of the Federal Reserve"? Would I do that to just like some random normie? Fuck no. That would like, I mean, there's no way they would absorb the information for one. They would be like, "Oh no, this guy must be a Republican," because the fact that he brought up finance instead of socialism or healthcare, that must mean that he's a right wing person, which is, not the case. I am so much worse than that. I am so much worse than a right winger. And there just wouldn't be anything gained. I would just alienate that person and put them into a state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and nothing would be gained. Versus, I think in most cases, it's just nice to like ask questions and be like, "Oh, really? Oh, explain that to me. Oh, what does that mean?" You know? And obviously that's something that I need to work on because I usually do not care. There's people that I like asking questions to because I'm very interested in them, but usually it's not the what's the term? I don't want to say normie or sheeple, but like a first grade truth person, where they think like, "Oh, I figured it out. I found out the thing, and it's a red herring, or it's a pissed on breadcrumb that is meant to distract you from coming to your divine higher self authority within yourself or whatever." It's not that serious. All the stuff, guys, that we're talking about, this is comedy. Okay, this is satire. Okay, I am critiquing being in a body. Okay, this is all satire, jokes about existence. None of this should be taken. It's all stupid. Okay, I hope you guys are having fun with it. Be accepting and you attract people. Yes, it's more so like if you have an internal frame that says, "I am open to people and being around people, people will come." That's how I see it, at least. Like, it's more of your internal state of being has to be like pro-human. And I say that because there's like a lot of people that I will observe and be like, "Oh, this person is like, they hate people," And some people are honest and they'll say as much. They'll be like, "Oh, I think that humans are like a cancer on the earth, and I think that humans are going to destroy everything." And I mean, they still get people around them, but they're all like twisted. We'll say that. And so it's about having like a heart space where you're like glad to be a person and you look at other people and you want to help them out in a way that you can. That's how I felt about the massage thing. Is I came to a point where my conclusion or my thesis was formed, which was the problem that we're dealing with is not like obviously it's not political, but it's the fact that people are in pain, and once you have pain, you don't have the same mental economy to make decisions or to be funny and joyful. You are limited in a way, you know? And so I found out or hypothesized that if I go in this way, I will be able to make everything better, you know? If I can just like ease the mental anguish, then like people will be funny and people will have a good time, you know? And so since I've like taken on that posture, like my life has just gotten better and better and better and better. And I just keep on meeting cool people and I keep on helping people and hearing good, positive things about what I'm doing. And yeah, it's just, it's exponential, you know? I'm talking about myself. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't want to make this about me. I want it to be about us and Charlie Kirk and Jim Carrey and anger. I hope I have not made you guys seethe today. I hope that you guys are all free of seethe. Cause it's, oh god, I used to seethe all the time. The last time I seethed, guys, let me think. I know there was one time where I was seething. It was the day that I decided I was going to quit the post office. And it was, I mean, I was going through like a pretty intense liver detox. So, anger, that's, if you guys get into Chinese medicine or whatever, your liver is connected with anger. And this is why, I mean, who has anger issues and liver issues? Alcoholics. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe it is, but it's pretty interesting how that just happens to happen, you know? And so, yeah, I was going through this liver cleanse, and basically all of the anger that I had stored about, I mean, being a mailman, it just sort of like came out, you know? And I think it was a great job to have, but oh God, just doing that like 6 days a week for the rest of my life until I died for a pension, it's just so crazy, you know? And that's probably where the anger came from, was like I was not being authentic to myself. I was doing something that deep down I knew I would kind of regret if I was gonna die, you know? If I was gonna die and be like, oh, but at least, oh, I've got that pension, that would be fucking miserable for me. But hey guys, I love the post office. I support it. I think it's better than most institutions in this country. Okay. Be moderate and you will have no regrets later. I mean, you know, like maybe you might be too moderate and be like, oh, I should have been more extreme. But in most cases, you're never like, oh, I was too moderate. I didn't go extreme enough. You know, most of the time, taking the middle path, walking between the two extremes is the correct way, I would say. And yeah, are there times where it's not the case and you should not be moderate? Yes, you know. There is time to be crazy, but moderation is a good thing. It is a virtue, in my opinion. To help others, you must forget yourself. You know, guys, that ego, oh, it always confuses us and makes us lash out at the world. We really gotta forget that thing and just focus on doing good. And, you know, it's been said before, like, treat others as if you want yourself to be treated. But that's not always the case, you know? Like, sometimes you have to treat yourself or you have to treat others as if they want to be treated. And to figure that out, you truly got to listen to them, you know? And that's a really good thing to do, is to listen to people. Not me, of course, don't listen to me, but other people in your day to day. You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You've also got 10 fingers, so do what you will with that information. Knowing this is to be truly enlightened. I still don't know, you know. Uh, I guess like to truly drop your agenda and stop trying to get what you want out of life and just trying to flow with it and having a fun time and chopping your wood and carrying your water. That's probably enlightenment, but I just have a problem with this English thing, guys. I just think this English thing doesn't cover it. I feel like there's got to be a little bit more that I'm missing to the picture, you know? Because there's a part of me that's like, oh, it can't be that simple. it can't be just, oh, be selfless and just flow and have fun and you're enlightened. In my brain space, there's like, oh, you've got to suffer, you've got to like meet your shadow demons and all that shit. And maybe that's incorrect, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe enlightenment is just being light. That would kind of suggest, or that would kind of make sense with what the word is. Knowing this, one can rise above personal feelings. Let's get out of those feelings, guys, unless it's, you know, the grandpa next ones like joy and mirth and whimsy and all those good feelings. Let's just drop all those negative feelings. In time of crisis, such an attitude is the keystone of progress. It's being the unmoved, you know, being the unmoved that is the strength position. It's not being anger, it's not like lashing all over the place. It's being set in yourself and being able to breathe and be relaxed. That is the position of strength. And anger is a lie, guys. Anger is not to be valued. It doesn't make you super alpha. In fact, it probably shrinks your balls, if you want me to tell you the truth about it. I bet if you are angry, you probably have little tiny peas in your sack. I'm sorry. I gotta say what I gotta say. Dangers are removed and peace endures. A lot of our dangers come from like our own agenda and the way that we want things to work out. And if we can detach from that, and I've been kind of saying this, if we accept that what we want is ours and we kind of engage with the world that way, we will not like spurg and seethe, you know, we will be more peaceful and calm. And this is, you know, our grandpa maxing adventure, you know. We are already there, guys. We are already at the retirement home. We're sipping White Russians in the lounge, watching the choir at the retirement home, and we're just having a good time, you know. But it's going to take some time before we can quantum leap to that reality timeline, okay? It's going to take some time, so we got to enjoy that time, and we got to realize that we've already won the retirement home. It's already been promised to us 5,000 years ago, okay? But so I hope this was a fun one. I know, guys, it's... that nicotine. I'm aware that I am not as like bouncing off the walls and I don't feel as fun as I usually do. But I bet by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, I will be 100% and we will be having way more fun again. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys now understand that Jim Carrey is in fact Charlie Kirk. I hope that you guys understand that being angry makes you weak and stupid. And I hope that you guys like China now that we read that Chinese book. Anyways, guys, have a beautiful fucking day. I hope that you enjoyed the lunar moon eclipse. I could not see it. It was too cloudy. But I hope it was red and eclipsed, and I hope that you guys had a beautiful time with it. You guys have a good day. I will see you tomorrow.